Hello, everybody, and welcome to the TTV Podcast, episode 310. I'm Meso.
I'm Eljay.
I'm Tenebrae Invictus.
I'm Takuma Nova.
And hello, everybody!
Hi.
How y'all doing? It's fine. Wonderful evening.
I'm existing.
I've had double my normal caffeine intake in 2 days.
Oh my gosh. LJ, I am so glad you're existing right now.
Thank
Eljay.
you.
I was worried for a moment that you weren't.
Yeah, the snap really affected everyone.
Yeah. Alright. Well, it's been a while since we did a TTV Podcast, last week was good. How have y'all been?
I mean,
It's been good. I mean, not very eventful, but it's, yeah, making it through life.
Nice. Okay.
mine has been the bad kind of eventful. Whatever.
A bad kind of a good.
But I'm alive, so yay!
Takuma, you need some good luck, man. You need it.
I don't need luck. I don't need good luck. I need other stuff.
We don't know what he needs.
He doesn't need good luck, he needs good results.
Yeah, there we go.
I mean, that is true.
Me telling it like it is.
Yeah,
Bingo.
go us.
Go us.
So this is our the first TTV podcast of the new year. And
Yep.
so far, 2019 has
Yep.
been meh.
Pretty average.
Big old meh.
What
so
were you
far.
expecting? Like, wow, it's a new
I mean,
year.
it's been
There's
pretty
definitely
bad.
no difference between, like, what yesterday and today. Like, oh my gosh, this is amazing. Brand new year full of new opportunities all of a sudden
Yeah,
just
no,
because the date
2019 is
changed.
starting out at the same rock bottom that 2018 ended, so, you know.
Wow, that's crazy.
I shouldn't say that. I'm not at rock bottom.
LJ, at least you're not sick anymore.
Yes, this is true. I've fully recovered, thank goodness. So, while I'm not
Good.
sick, I'll hesitate to say I'm healthy.
Touche.
Uh-huh.
I was
Come
just reading an article about like what month you're born actually does influence how prone to sickness you are.
Isn't that just called astrology?
No, it's not astrology. It's like actual health and like just based on like the statistics of like how many people get admitted to hospitals and what their birth month is.
What does it say about
What's
August?
the most dangerous month to be born in?
August is actually not like super high. It was more like September to November. Like October and November are like through the roof.
September is the most common
sicknesses.
month to be born in. I know that much.
Which is weird
September is
because
pretty high up, but October and November are the highest.
I know way more people that were born
Wait,
in August. At
what did you say,
least
Invi?
3 off the top of my head.
What did you say, Invi? I missed what you said.
I just said that October and November are the worst, but September is up there.
Oh, as far as being dangerous?
Yes, being more prone to
Right.
getting a disease.
Problem, uncool, etc.
Is that going by, like, numbers or by, like, percentages?
I'll just link the article. Holy crap. I'm sorry. Oh my gosh.
I'm not complaining. It was just an honest question regarding statistics, okay?
I don't check like every single statistical detail of an article I just read
Context
like
is
within an hour.
important.
Not to me. No.
Civil War
Don't-
2.
Come on,
That was
fellas.
internal war.
Your context is poor.
Yeah, I love it.
And I
Absolutely
see it's the
love
Washington Post, so you've already lost me.
I know.
I mean, there's more than one article to it, so.
So,
So,
Meso, we've already got someone in the chat asking about the picture that I have chosen today. So before I switch it for something that might be a tad more representative,
Relevant?
sure. Let's go
we'll
ahead.
get it
and-
out of the way.
Let's get the
to,
elephant out of the room.
Yeah, we'll get rid of that so we don't get accused of false advertising on podcast pictures. So, some interesting Destiny news has happened this week. That being, Bungie, the developer that makes the video game Destiny, has actually broken free of their ties with publisher Activision, a publisher that has actually risen to more levels of hatred than EA, which Electronic Arts has always been infamously hated for their, their anti-consumer practices, their microtransactions, their scummy business decisions. Activision is somehow worse because EA has been learning, whether it's because of genuine, introspection or because their bottom line took a massive hit in the past year with the Star Wars Battlefront controversy. They're doing better. Activision, they're doing worse. In a lot of ways, far too many to list. Anybody who remotely knows about video games knows how bad Activision is. You don't need me to explain to you why. Bungie is basically breaking from them, and it's unclear how this all came to pass because Activision entered in with Bungie for a 10-year publishing deal for Destiny. Citing,
the thing was rocky the whole time, though.
The thing was rocky since word go. It's been fraught with difficulties. So it's not exactly a surprise they would want out. I'm more surprised they actually got out.
And with their IP.
And with their IP intact. Because the last time this happened, Microsoft kept Halo. And we've all seen how that has gone down.
Poorly.
This
No,
go
we haven't
round.
because it's not on PC, so we haven't seen anything.
This go round, Bungie gets to keep Destiny. At this juncture, anything that this means is purely speculatory. We could talk for an hour about what this could mean. Real talk, no one knows anything. Because it's early stages. It could mean absolutely nothing. But Bungie, self-publishing their own games, it does give them a bit more creative freedom as far as not only what they put in the games, but how they distribute the games. A lot of things we know were Activision mandates for Destiny. Having to have having a yearly game release in September, a certain amount of DLCs throughout the year at certain intervals, delays not allowed, the Eververse microtransaction store, all this stuff were mandates. It's not so much the content, but how the content is distributed. Now that Bungie's doing their own thing, there's literally nothing stopping them from completely upending how the game works. I'm not saying they will because it might annoy dedicated players, but they could just throw everything out the door and make it like a full-on MMO with a subscription fee.
Which would be stupid, but whatever.
They could do that.
Playing it to begin with.
They could do that. I don't think it'd be stupid. I think it's the best decision they could possibly do.
Oh,
That's a discussion for another day.
I will never play a game that requires a monthly subscription.
Well, the cool
Meso,
thing about
would you give into that?
of course, because here's the thing about a subscription: if you don't like it, you stop paying it.
How about I
Yeah,
pay
yeah,
it once
pay it
and never
all.
have to worry about whether or not I want to pay it more?
Well, then you have to with a game like Destiny. A lot of people are very naive when they approach it. No offense, they're like,
I've
so if
played. I have
$60,
Destiny 2. You
bucks.
do realize?
Yeah, I know, but they're like, okay, so if I pay this for $60, then I should keep all this content forever, and I should always be on the end of the end game, and I should never have to buy anything again or be forced into buying anything again.
It's not like games.
But
that
who are you
traditionally
getting that
work
from?
way.
A lot of people. But the thing with Destiny
People are you talking
is
to?
a lot of the common detractors, they're annoyed that when there's a new DLC release, they're obligated to buy it to keep up with the cusp of the end game. But the thing about Destiny is it's not a full-on MMO. It is an MMO light, however, but it does follow a lot of the same staples. The game evolves with new DLC releases. The old content is made irrelevant-ish in favor of new in-game content. A lot of people do not like that. A lot of their DLC releases aren't that good. I think that moving toward a subscription service with consistent monthly updates is a lot more honest about what the game actually is, instead of trying to market it as a as an FPS co-op game like Borderlands, when it's really an MMO try-hard in disguise. It's confusing. It does not have the same kind of clear marketability in its current state.
Wait, so if it moved to a subscription model, the belief is that they will no longer make DLC in a purchasable form.
Correct.
That they would just... all right, if you want to believe that, but I mean...
Expansion
Take it
packs
from-
are one thing. Their little microscopic DLC releases that they've been doing, that's what they need to get rid of.
I mean,
Okay.
But
My
Proper-
Fair enough.
issue.
Words of wisdom from the armchair publisher.
My
And
That was
issue
maybe more
is
like
that
expansions.
Destiny 2 and Destiny 1, I guess, to an extent, has not done well enough with its content. It doesn't do a good enough job making good content to warrant a pseudo subscription fee. I
Well,
end
no,
up
definitely
feeling
not.
like I've lost money that I would have otherwise never paid when I get the
Definitely
new
not
DLC.
in its current state, and that's because they're, a lot of people use Activision as a scapegoat. It may or may not be true. There is a certain level of accountability with the developer, but the belief is that the reason the DLC offerings have been so sparse is because they've been mandated to release them along strict timetables, and while also having to juggle making half the content only available through microtransactions.
Yeah, no, I mean, I get that.
That's been the belief.
I get it.
No
And
one would
it's-
like a subscription service for Destiny in its current state. But
Maybe
if it
I'm a
was
little, maybe I'm a little old-fashioned, but I liked it when well, okay, maybe this isn't the best example, but one of my favorite games, legitimately, one of the games I've gotten the best experiences out of for my money, has been Minecraft. Paid like what,
Agreed.
$15 back in 2009, 10ish.
Oh yeah, definitely got money worth
And
out of that.
Every other release has been completely free to me. That was an incredibly good deal. I've gotten so much value out of that. I just liked buying a game and then just getting to enjoy the game and then getting to go through the ranks of the game. Like, I know this is a poor example given the companies we're talking about, but Call of Duty. I used to play a lot of Call of Duty. I liked it when I got
Call of
Call of
Duty.
Duty, especially like Black Ops or Modern Warfare 1. And I could just play through the entire game and then play through the entire multiplayer and not have to worry about paying more money.
I think that's a perfectly fair viewpoint.
And
to have.
now, if you play Call of Duty, you have to pay $2 for a red dot in the middle of your screen.
That is a thing, yes. That is definitely a thing, and that is completely atrocious. Yeah, I mean, I think that's totally fine having that preference. This type of genre isn't
Nope.
for everybody.
No, Wadden, they may only charge you $1, but the smallest denomination you can buy their special COD blocks bucks in is $2. So unless you've already got $1 left over from some other purchase, I'm gonna call those 10 red pixels $2.
No.
Yeah.
Heck,
So I think
Because they make you buy the arbitrary premium currency instead of just selling it to you for money.
even Overwatch, bought the game. Every other, I mean, there's obviously no end game there, but bought it, paid the one-time fee, and everything else has been completely and utterly optional. It's been my decision. In order to keep up with my friends or anyone that I play Destiny with, yes, then I mandatorily have to purchase something else to do that. And I'm not super thrilled about it. I mean, we'll see what happens now, because now the ball is entirely in Bungie's court. And to be fair, when they are allowed to do what they are allowed to do, it's really good, aka Halo Reach. But I'm hesitant. I'm super hesitant. I'm probably not going to get the game I won't get the game at launch, and I probably won't get the game at all, depending on how things go.
which is totally a fair perspective to have. My thing with Destiny, yeah, Print just makes a good comment, even if it's a little hyperbolic. In order for there to be an in-game in Overwatch means there would have to be an actual game to play.
Wow, that's the
I don't
quickest I've
get it.
ever
What-
seen a moderator resign from their position. That's funny. No,
Yeah,
I
now there is an actual game in Overwatch.
An actual.
So he's trying to make a joke, but I completely get what he's trying to say.
I see what
I
he's
was
trying
Where's
to
my
say.
Overwatch campaign? I paid for this.
Yeah, comparing Destiny to Overwatch to Minecraft is apples to oranges to coconuts.
Bananas.
Comparing apples to
Leave
fruit
the
nobody's
bananas
ever
out
heard
of this, LJ.
In my comics, I had a Matoran who was obsessed with bananas. Bananas? That's my not motif. What am I saying?
Yeah, well, in my comics, I had a character who was actually well liked.
I was in my comics, thank you very much. How dare you?
In short,
Is that why I don't remember them?
well, I don't really want to talk about this too much. Just in short, my thing with Destiny is the same with any other game. I'm more than happy to pay a fair price for a fair product. If the value put into the content equates to the money charged, it's totally cool. Destiny's actual expansions have been worthwhile. The $40 to $60 packs. The regular DLC packs have almost always universally been trash.
Yeah.
If they moved towards a different business model with different pricing options, I would be perfectly happy to explore that and judge the value they're presenting for the new price point. I hope that they use this as an opportunity to experiment, since they're no longer like the contract they had with Activision for 10 years. The mandate was they called them Comets back in development, which was their name for these periodic DLC drops. It was mandated one every September, one every December, one in the spring, and they've stuck to that. They've stuck to that regiment for about 5 years now. That contract has now been dissolved. They're no longer obligated to do that. I honestly would not mind if they took a break from Destiny, where there wasn't any new Destiny content, to give them time to reevaluate how they distribute it in the future and try to get a little bit more creative with the distribution methods. The future is interesting. I look forward to following this with rapt attention.
Yeah.
But that's pretty much all.
Interesting.
I mean, don't get me wrong, I don't give a darn about Destiny, but it's still good to hear that Bungie is out from under Activision.
There's no way it's a
the
bad
sooner
thing.
Activision dies, the sooner I'm happy.
Yeah.
Someone made a good point. There was
Same for
only there was only one game franchise that Activision still owns the IP to, and it's Call of Duty. Everything else they've run into the ground, and they're not doing anything with anymore. Like Guitar Hero dead, Tony Hawk dead, Destiny gone,
dead
Skylanders run into the ground. It's like Call of Duty's all they have left. So it's not good.
I mean, they still got the one that probably matters the most to them out of those.
True, very true. But this is a very funny picture of their stock prices just completely plummeting.
Yeah, but that's
it's not gonna last, but it's funny.
Of course not.
It's still a funny picture.
Like anyone who thinks that, oh man, Activision just took a big hit. No, it dipped a little bit, and it's not gonna last.
No, not at all.
Either way, what's next on the docket that's happened this week? Anybody have any interesting situations besides Takuma's lengthy story that we might get to in a few minutes? I don't know.
Oh, do you want to get to that?
I want to get to some of it. You should tell people what's been going on. Maybe not read the whole thing, but
that's what makes it good.
I got something.
Yeah,
I mentioned it beforehand. So I enjoyed a dinner and a movie. Like I had my dinner in the movie theater, and it wasn't something I bought from the theater. So
did you sneak spaghetti in under your shirt?
Some about this sneak my spaghetti.
Okay, so
they were like, "What's that smell?" And Invi was like,
first bit of context. Around here in Thailand, it's common to travel around with your backpack, since we don't have a lot of us don't have cars, so it's just easy to bring your stuff with you wherever you go, since it's going to be a long journey across town for the day. So I had my backpack with me. I went to the movie theater and I got my ticket for Spider-Man, but it was starting in 5 minutes and I hadn't had dinner yet. So the movie theater's in the mall. So I went over to the elevator, went all the way down to the McDonald's, and I ordered my food to go. And I stuffed it all in my backpack, including the cup. And I went in, and in Thailand, since everybody has backpacks, they never check to see what's in them. So I enjoyed my Big Mac during the trailers for the movie, and had my fries after it started. It was pretty good.
Oh my gosh.
I'm impressed that the cup didn't burst or anything. That nothing went wrong with the friggin' McDonald's cup.
Man, sure.
But it was pretty funny stuffing in my backpack. Yeah, they never check it around here, so it was pretty easy.
Gosh.
Oh man, that would be it'd be kind of funny if they noticed a guilty face walking in with stuff this dude's probably sneaking some stuff in. We better. Sir, can I see your bag?
That looks like exactly the kind of person who would sneak a McDonald's meal into a movie. Yeah, honestly, see, here's what I would have done in your situation. I would have gone to the movie and not eaten anything, and just watched the movie and then eaten after I left.
Why?
Well, because, okay, The movie
I
theater
didn't
experience.
actually eat during the movie. I was actually done eating before the movie started because trailers here take like half an hour instead of 20 minutes.
Yeah. Yeah. Fair enough, but I don't like the idea of eating and drinking during the movie theater experience. Not only is the movie theater experience garbage anyway, but eating and drinking just complicates it so
Maybe you
much.
just don't have good theaters near you.
No, my theaters are fine. I'm not talking about the theater. Well, ish. A little bit.
I
The
have no
experience
opinion
is
whether or not
trash.
they enhance the experience.
See, I would much rather be in the comfort of my own home, either by myself or chatting with some friends, watching a movie, having a good time, as opposed to having to go to a place crowded with a bunch of people in a dark room and just watch a super miserably loud film. I have to wear earbuds every time I go to the movies.
Usually when I go to a movie, there's not a lot of other people in there. But I will say the best movie watching experience I've ever had was at a theater, the midnight premiere of The Avengers. And that place was packed. But there was just an electric energy through the whole crowd. Throughout the movie, everyone's cheering, everyone's having a blast. It was the best time.
Yeah, you see, I don't care for that at all. That doesn't like I don't.
There was like this sense of camaraderie. Like, yes, the comic book nerds have finally succeeded. We have awesome movie. So every time hero showed up on screen for their first shot, cheering.
Yeah. The only
Like
time
even just when the title card showed up, the whole place went wild.
I can
It tends
see
to be a mixed bag for me.
if it
based
were a
on, like,
Bionicle movie, I'm
reception.
sure that'd be excellent.
Oh my gosh.
But otherwise, nah. I can't do that.
Eljay, you're a very subjective person.
Thank you
Oh
for
my God.
describing
You're wrong.
everyone ever.
No, not me.
There's a guy in
Dude,
the YouTube
you're so
chat.
subjective. If you want to have a conversation
There we
about
go.
subjectivity, let's talk about what you think of
No,
Overwatch.
I'm just saying, dude. There's like, you have
I'm just gonna
weird
copy
qualifications for things you enjoy or merit, and it's hilarious. And you spit it out like, I hate the
So?
movie theater experience, man. Unless it's Bionicle.
So,
Unless it's
Then
Bionicle.
suddenly all my
Yeah.
legitimate criticisms are waived
No.
because I get to like nerd out, which is exactly what Takuma was saying.
my goodness, that's not what I'm saying. You're totally conflating and misconstruing what I'm getting at.
Misconstruing.
Okay.
The
So
theater
Meso-
experience can only
Mes-
be
so-
good if it's Bionicle.
Meso hates Overwatch, guys. Like, he legitimately hates it because it's a better game than
Untrue.
Destiny is, and he's envious of other people that can have fun and not have to waste their money with all of these garbage DLCs from Destiny. Oh, sorry, wait, that wasn't what you were saying. Darn it. Dang, I'm sorry. I'm fudge. I totally just took what you were saying out of context and misconstrued it, and just... darn.
Please
No.
explain how I could possibly interpret something else.
What I am saying is that I greatly dislike the movie theater experience. There is no movie out there that would warrant me wanting to go to a movie theater to enjoy a film with a group of people, I don't know, in a large, dark, crowded movie theater with the film blaring obnoxiously. The only exception I can see myself making, does not necessarily mean I would make it, would be a Bionicle film. Even then, that would just be me making the exception to go see a Bionicle movie, and wouldn't necessarily mean that any of my criticisms would be waived, because then the same things still apply. It's a crowded movie theater with a bunch of people I don't know in a super dark room that's super loud. It's just a...
Eljay,
Yeah, I really don't like the video game experience. Most of the video games I play just aren't that entertaining, and I'm not very good with the keyboard and mouse. You know, when I plug my
Except for
controller
Bionicle
in, it's not.
My goodness.
Eljay, you said the only exception you would consider making, not that you would necessarily make it, the only exception you consider making. I look forward to your thoughts on Avengers Endgame when it comes out on DVD.
Okay. I'm the only exception I can see myself making to my disenjoyment of the theater experience. I don't Darn you,
And I know
LJ. You don't like what I
said-
like, so you're the enemy.
When did I
Goodness.
ever say that?
Oh my goodness.
I only snuck my dinner in because I didn't want to be hungry throughout the movie. Usually I don't eat. Usually I eat before the movie, but the only showing I could get into that was like relatively close was the one that was going to be in 5 minutes.
Yeah.
Nice.
But it was fine, and I was thoroughly satisfied during the movie, hunger-wise.
Well, there you go. In the end, it all worked out.
Yeah, Spider-Verse was pretty good though. It took forever for it to come out here, but
So good.
I mean,
Fantastic
I don't think I agreed. I mean, like it was a good movie. I don't think my rating for it is as high as like everybody else's. But
Do you mean like as a movie or in comparison to other Spider-Man movies?
no, it's a good Spider-Man movie, and it's definitely like a tone that it could. I mean, like a Spider-Man movie could use, because all the other ones beside, I mean, like Homecoming's kind of close, but live action can only take the comic book feel so far. Spider-Verse was good in being animated and being able to do it justice finally. No, I would say, I mean, like everybody's rating it like 9 plus or like 10 out of 10. My rating is kind of under that because I wasn't like, I thought it was a good movie, like maybe about a 4 or not 4 out of 10, 4 out of 5, so 8 out of 10 up until like the last part. And then that last fight upped it for me by a little bit, but still, it's not like, oh my gosh, this is my favorite movie of all time.
Well,
This
no.
is the best comic book movie ever. Wow.
Alright.
But yeah, it was good.
Fair enough. I could have a discussion about that, but then we'd launch into spoiler territory. Yeah, man. If you want to go hear our thoughts, 4 of us did a Spider-Verse review a while ago. It's up on the channel. What?
No, just whenever I think
Best
about
enjoyed with the Big Mac snuck in.
whenever I think about the Spider-Verse review.
It's how everyone couldn't function. We ran around with like chickens with our head cut off without you there. Yep.
Pretty much.
That did happen.
Yeah.
Having to record it separately
We can't
without
figure out how to live stream. Where is LJ?
I mean, basically. Yeah, I
That's
thought,
what happened.
gosh, dang. Also, you know what? I gotta say, I was gonna go see Spider-Verse in theaters. But after this conversation, I'm not only going to watch it at home on my computer, but I'm gonna watch it by myself.
LJ's just not gonna
other
watch
thing.
any.
Supposed to make a
LJ's
difference.
just not gonna watch any more movies until Bionicle
That's
comes
the
out.
other thing LJ does. He has a habit of cutting his nose off to spite his face.
Yep.
Like, all
Listen,
the
I mean,
time.
I will have a
His
perfect.
current Discord profile picture is proof of this.
That is not
Which
proof of
some of
this.
your listeners may have noticed.
That's such a conflation. It doesn't even work. It's a very different situation. But no, it's like, all right, you know what? Fine. Well, I was gonna do it. I was gonna go out of my way and pay all the money to do it, but
No, you weren't.
I was going to do it, but because I was
But now I
waiting
have people
for
to
a
piss
local
off.
movie theater to open up so I can just go see it there instead of having to head like half an hour away to go see it. But now it's such a nope. I'm sticking to
I
my
have to
guns
make
on this
people
one.
upset now.
Because the only movies I watch are Lego movies and Marvel movies. Because I do that. It's a very Destiny-esque model of watching films. I have to do it to keep up with everyone else. But it's like Spider-Verse doesn't.
LJ, live for yourself, man.
I will.
Boycott those movies.
I will live for myself.
Boycott those movies, man. Unless they're Lego, or more specifically Bionicle, because those theater experiences suck.
I mean, they do. They do suck. The movie theater
Maybe you need
experience
to
is a
maybe you need to sneak some food in.
Dude, I
That would
hate
make all the
eating.
difference.
Not only do I hate eating in a theater, I think I've done that once and it was just a awful mess. But I hate eating during movies anywhere when I'm watching any film. Because, you're chewing the food and it's like, well, now I gotta see if I gotta try and hear the movie. but then I turn it up and then it's too loud.
You were just complaining that the movie's too loud.
Well, yeah,
and now you complain that you can't hear it. How loud do you chew?
Well, yeah, if you have earplugs in, it will amplify.
I hope people listen.
Sound.
I hope people listen to what I was saying, and then Takuma cut me off conveniently. As I was saying, then I turn the movie up, and then it's too loud after I'm done chewing.
You can't turn a movie up at the theater.
Exactly. It's just constantly too loud in the movie theater, and it's awful.
Exactly.
It's terrible.
Well, I mean, you only hear the sound of you chewing more if you have your ears plugged. Maybe you should take out those earplugs.
Yeah, so I don't eat. If I take out the earplugs, then it's just painful. It's super painful.
No, just all your chewing.
No, I'm not gonna. And now we've come back around. I don't want to eat during the movie.
Yeah, but you said it's because you don't want to eat during the movie because you don't want to, because you have problems hearing it. But if you just take it out while you're eating,
but then it's super painful. It's super painful. Listen, I hate movie theaters. I really do. I make exceptions of going to movies for Marvel and Lego, and that's it. And it still sucks, even if I enjoy the movie. The crowds have no effect on my enjoyment, ever.
All right. Fair.
Is it?
I just really like the big screen and the immersive sound experience.
Ugh.
I like the smell of the bathrooms.
Yeah, me too. That's why I go.
What? No.
That's the whole reason I go.
Usually I eat my food in the bathroom.
Reminds me of
It's
home.
so unsanitary. Ugh. Yeah.
Anyway, yeah.
Are you done?
Yeah,
talking
so
about
earplug out, chew, 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 swallow, earplug back in. Bingo.
Just do it during dialogue scenes. Crunch all your food when there's no like sound effects.
Oh my gosh. I'm so glad that I have to get an arm workout while I'm watching a film.
It's great. It's multi-task.
Man, if it takes that much effort to take out an earplug, I'm impressed.
Earplug, food, earplug, food, earplug, food. It's like a rhythm. It's like I'm going to...
Glasses off, hair down.
Earplugs aren't food nowadays.
You be quiet. Yeah.
That's a different... Well, anyway. Yeah. What were we even... Yeah, main just story. Okay.
Yep.
Takuma, you've had a bit of a tumultuous circumstance.
Yes, I have.
You want to, like, share some of it?
Do you want me? Because I don't think they're sharing some of it.
I've made it very clear. You can only share some of it.
I can.
You can only abridge it.
Doesn't mean I should. I'm not just going to launch it because, like,
if you don't want
guys,
to,
we
say
got
no.
nothing for TTV this week, so I'm just going to tell you how terrible my life is.
Well, I think everyone found it pretty entertaining, but the more we talk about it, the more
you
no
want
one's
me to
going to
read
find
it. I will read it, but I'm just saying you better be sure you want me to read it.
Oh my god. It feels like every time I want to like explain something, it turns into a production. You don't physically have time to read it. Last night you read me like a bit of it, and you gave me a primer, and then you were like, "If you want me to keep going, I will." And then I was like, "Yes, keep going." The fans would say, "No, don't keep going," but they would still get the enjoyment out of it.
Are you sure? I thought I made it pretty enjoyable.
No, I'm not sure. All right, moving on.
I mean, according to a word count tool I used, it's like a 20-minute rant.
Pretty much. Type.
Someone in the YouTube chat asked, "Are you guys even reading the chat?" And like, yes. Like, I mean TTV. I am in TTV.
Man, just the TTV channel. The TTV channel is a pretty cool guy.
Yeah, that TTV channel guy. And he makes some cool videos sometimes.
I'm just a greedy son of a gun who will only read from the Patron server.
I am actually going to make a shout out here in reference to a tweet that was posted earlier today by an individual by the name of Nathan at Venging Odin over on Twitter. And he had this really good tweet. It said, "What if I told you that the TTV channel doesn't really exist? It's just the Eljay Johnson and TTV Invictus moving really fast and doing different voices."
I like the sound of this. That's a fun gimmick.
Yeah, and one of these days, I think Invi and I are just going to do that.
If it doesn't exist, then how did he manage to @ the channel?
It's a figment of your imagination.
The Twitter channel is just a societal construct.
Okay.
Yeah, it's still a group account.
No.
We posted them tweets.
You posted
Anyway.
the toaster?
We do.
We don't have a toaster. We only eat bread cold,
That sounds absolutely disgusting.
because it is.
Bread is the one thing that isn't good cold.
I mean, it's tolerable. When I was in Utah, anytime
Tolerable.
when we didn't have...
Yeah, Utah. Everyone knows about Utah's cold bread.
Oh,
Known far and wide throughout the country. Like, man, I hate cold bread. Dude, have you ever had cold bread from Utah, though? Yeah, I forgot about them, man. Utah's got the best cold bread, man.
Poor Eljay.
Yeah. One time, no.
I feel like
One
this is
time,
comeuppance.
I went to Utah.
This is comeuppance for the TTV 2018 poll.
And I got the bumper nickel. Oh my gosh! Oh, it tangled my toes.
So
Go on, Eljay.
when I was in Utah, if we
And then the
weren't-
other guy's like, yeah.
if we weren't having
Cold
dinner over at Mass Collector's house,
We were having cold bread.
well, what I did, I bought a loaf of bread, and because it's gluten-free bread, it's found in the freezer section, so it's frozen. And so
Truth.
I bought that, brought it home, cooled it, or thawed it, so it was completely thaw. And what I would just do is I'd take a piece of bread, I would take basically what amounts to lunch meats, sliced meat. I would put 2 to 3 slices of that on the bread, take another slice of bread, put it on top, and just eat that. And it's perfectly fine. I didn't have any, I don't think I had any mustard, so I couldn't actually put anything on it. So it's just bread and meat. And it worked out. It wasn't toasted. It was tolerable. It was a good snack. See?
Intolerable is one way to put it.
Yeah.
New Hero Factory villain, Thaw Jaw.
Oh,
Thought. Cold bread.
Yeah, I mean, I get you. I get you.
you're not getting
Bread
a
is
ham
good.
sandwich at Brick Fair this year.
Why not?
After this podcast, I'm revoking your right to a ham sandwich.
Come on, Eljay.
No,
Since when am
You're
I
out
not
of the Brick
allowed to
Fair.
be entertaining on the podcast?
no, you've lost the right.
I wouldn't mind if you started being entertaining on the podcast.
Excuse me. There were people earlier loving El Jedi's dispute.
Dispute. It was you conflating my words.
It
That's-
was you, like,
It was me
I
what,
don't know.
Meso? It was me what?
I mean, I was gonna say having thin skin, but that's not actually true.
My
I've
goodness.
seen you with thin skin. It wasn't that.
Yes, Meso. I've seen you during our last section of the Danganronpa 2 Let's Play. I've seen you with thin skin too. My goodness.
You're a cool guy, El Jedi. I
Bite
appreciate
me.
everything you do.
Bite me.
I appreciate everything you do.
Oh, clearly. Anyway,
Bite me as if I was a piece of cold
didn't say
hard
that.
bread.
there it is. There it is.
Harder.
You know what? I will make you I will make you
Cold
the ham
hard-earned
sandwich, but I won't toast the bread. It's just going to
No!
be cold. It's going to be cold, unthaw bread.
Why would you do this?
You guys gonna get a gluten-free toaster?
That
I mean,
actually, we did not toast the
because
bread.
I mean, we're gonna have a normal toaster.
You're right. We just had it thawed.
Yeah, no, we
Off
just
from the
thawed the
jaw.
bread. See, and see what I mean? You said the sandwich was
wait,
good. It's
no.
tolerable.
It was pretty
If
good.
you just have cold hard bread, it'll be like hard, just like a toasted one would be.
Okay, bread needs to be toasted to a very specific degree where it's not
Yes.
too toasted, but it's not under toasted. So it's not just warm bread, but,
But
it
it'll be
also
crunchy
isn't
if you just leave
burnt-
it cold.
Burnt
You
bread
don't
is
want
horrible.
to have raw toast, because that's just nasty.
exactly.
Raw toast bread.
So what you would you toast it to a certain degree where it is it's almost thicker on the outside but then chewier on the inside.
I see.
TTV Podcast, raw toast.
Actually, you know what? I'm looking through my pictures real quick to see if I have a picture of the ham sandwich I made before we left in 2017.
Oh god.
Because I
This
feel
guy's like, who toasts bread for their sandwiches? I do when I go to Subway.
who doesn't toast? Okay, well, Subway, but who doesn't toast bread for their sandwiches?
Depends
I
on the
toast
type
it for
of
my
sandwich.
PB&J. I'm just kidding, I don't.
Depends on the type of sandwich. Like if it's a sub sandwich, I don't want it toasted. Like if I go to Jersey Mike's or formerly Subway or any of those places, I'll just get it like regular. But
I don't toast a PB&J.
Really?
Yes.
Yeah,
I almost want to try that now.
Fun little Meso trivia fact for everyone. I dislike peanut butter so much that when I was younger, I would eat jelly sandwiches. Just to
Oh, aren't you
substitute.
lame?
Oh my gosh.
I had a lot of weird food quirks when I was younger, like no cheese pizzas. But I've thankfully grown out of all of them except for peanut butter, which I still hate. Yeah.
Okay, see, Dark Takanuva in the patron chat has made a really excellent point that I identify with strongly. I long for the old days of TTV when the episode names were the weirdest things. I do as well, buddy. I do as well.
I blame Meso.
However, Meso is the only one that actually handles doing the podcasts, so I try hard not to complain about it. Because I clearly don't care enough, otherwise I would just go back and edit the titles.
Exactly.
Dude, complaining's my hobby.
So,
TTV 308, practicing my trainees. TTV 307, the glue on the shoe. TTV 306, karmic seesaw versus luck switch.
okay, that...
TTV 305, fine. I could have done better with that one. It was, do you guys not have phones?
Yeah, okay,
TTV
I even...
304.
That one. There were actual examples during that. But...
TTV 304, cut out of Buddy the Elf.
Cut out of Buddy the Elf.
There was a specific instance in the episode about like being
Did
horrified
we cut
about
out of
it.
them? Like a tumor or something?
No, like an actual thing. TTV 302, Cherry Pie Rage and Snickles Uncaged. I like it. I like
Okay,
that one.
that one's fair.
Point being, I fail about half the time. I have a 50% success ratio.
Fair enough.
And
And
usually
now
my
for TTV
failures.
310, Logan Paul reacts to raw toast.
Don't you dare.
Yeah,
I hate
movie
it.
theater.
I hate it. I maintain. That was
Logan
your low
Paul
point.
reacts to
That was the
Toronto's
low
in the
point of
movie theater.
TTV. That was rock bottom.
We're doing it. I hope you realize now.
No,
Mermaid,
I
have
will
no
go
one to
back.
blame but Midge.
No, I will go back. I will change it. I will modify that title, and I will fight to the very end. No. Unacceptable.
Yeah, okay.
Okay, so I looked through my pictures for Brick Fair 2017, and while I cannot find a picture of the ham sandwich, which I know I took because I sent it to you, Meso, because you were gone at the time, and I was like, hey, I actually made it.
I
before
find that on
we
my
left."
text messages.
You probably could. Don't worry about it. Instead of that, I've just found pictures of a bunch of food that I didn't eat that was left out all over the house. And I know exactly
That's
why
true.
I have them.
You were documenting. Like,
was.
Who drank the milk that one year in 2016, and you were collecting evidence.
Well, no. This is 2017. So what? Yeah, what I was doing is I was taking pictures of any food that had been left out by anyone. Spoiler alert: it was only left out by one person, and large quantities of said food were left out and not eaten. So
Anyone want to take a guess?
you're welcome.
Anyone?
Yeah, no.
Take a guess.
Go for it. But,
Yeah, funny times.
Can we go to a pizza restaurant in Reston this year? Please.
We were supposed to in 2017. I don't think it exists.
No, just because there's no place called Reston Pizza doesn't mean we can't go and enjoy some Reston pizza.
That's true. We must.
why don't we just take pizza to Reston? And you know,
But then it's not Reston Pizza.
okay,
That's pizza in Reston.
fair enough. Takuma,
That's some
What do you got?
interesting pizza.
Oh gosh.
Why you gotta be such a stickler?
Well, we should bury some pizza. No.
Alright. Well, in that case, I wanted to bring up a Bionicle-related subject, but Takuma, I want you to go
no
over...
one cares about Bionicle.
But I wanted you to go
What did
over...
you say?
I wanted you to go over and brief your refrigerator problem.
You want me?
Oh
Okay.
man, I offered it multiple times.
Yeah, but you don't want me to go through the
be
whole...
interested. No, I don't. No one does. That's why we say brief.
Okay, how about this? How about... I mean, I've been having trouble with a warranty place replacing my refrigerator. So I sent them... I mean, this has been going on since literally November 7th. And I was getting sick to death of not getting anywhere. So I started calling them over and over and hounding them. And just a few days ago, I sent a rather sternly worded email.
You could say that. I would call it a masterpiece of
Yeah,
literary
like I said on Twitter, it was my magnum opus. It's too bad that my magnum opus was responding to customer service.
You had like a counter of days since there.
Yeah, every single day I put out an entire timeline of what happened every single day that I tried or attempted to have an interaction with them. I guess try and attempted to are the same thing, aren't they?
Yeah.
Every time I did or attempted to / tried, and it's a mess. It's terrible. Don't anyone ever get anything, and do not deal with that company. It's not worth your time. It has been nothing but heartbreak and heartache and heartburn.
Negative advertisement.
Your paragraph, your email was so well that you were mentioning you wanted
like
to,
the opening paragraph. Okay,
Yeah.
you seem to be heavily trying to push me towards reading that opening paragraph without just outright asking for it.
You would be correct.
Yeah,
And then
you
again, I'm
see.
also in the camp of you just making the whole thing a reading patron exclusive or whatever. But
Well, I was thinking like maybe just after the
Twitch there.
podcast, just make the whole reading a a special treat for the patrons.
Yeah.
Hashtag money.
But don't worry, guys. We're just a group of friends. We're not in it for the money.
I really do
No,
wish
no.
that Ven would bring back the mock spotlight, and not that we're doing it
Yeah, I
for
don't know why he
reviews,
hasn't brought it back.
And I do wish people
Really
would make
popular.
some D&D characters for me.
By the way, my girlfriend Haley will be making videos.
man, I swear to God.
I'm gonna leave some Ninjago stuff to Haley. That's my girlfriend, by the way.
Oh, really?
Man, just like the ultimate armchair critic. He'll meme you into oblivion.
All he does is sit around criticizing armchairs. Or he just-
Yep.
This one isn't very
Armchair
comfy.
0 out of 10.
I feel like I'm gonna go ahead and sit over in that armchair. That last armchair wasn't very comfortable.
This armchair is pretty good to like rest my arm against while I take out my earplug to enjoy some raw toast.
Some raw toast.
I love it.
Okay.
All right.
So in order to
Takuma.
appease Meso,
Thank you.
they've eventually got to the point where I got my realtor involved and asked if they had any kind of pull with this company since I got the warranty through my purchase agreement and stuff. And so yeah, got her involved. It finally they started reaching out to me first instead of it always being the other way around. But I was super busy at work, so I didn't respond. And then so they sent out one email, and then a few days later they sent out 2 emails within a single 24-hour period. And so I finally sat down and I was like, okay, I should probably respond to this. So I was like, hello, so-and-so, the 2 people that were sending me the email. And it says, my apologies for not getting back to you sooner. My obligations at work have been considerable as of late, requiring me to work extra hours and leaving me with no personal time of my own to spare responding to emails. While it is not a favorable position to be in, I must see to it that my responsibilities are taken care of, and so in a timely fashion, even if that means some small inconvenience on my part. I owe it to this little thing called integrity, something your company seems woefully underinvested in. And the next line is, now that I've set the tone for this email, let us press on.
I love it.
It's so vicious.
Yeah, what did I say was the I put it through a word count tool, and yeah, the whole email is 2,396 words. And the reading level is equivalent to like 11th or 12th grade.
Absolutely fantastic. I mean, listen, if you say Patron exclusive, but if you want to put it on the main channel, totally could.
And do you want me to read through the whole thing right now?
No, because
yeah, I didn't think so.
We're getting to
That's not what I'm saying.
I still think we should have Dead
I'm
Matoro
saying
do dramatic reading of
read
it.
the whole thing and put it on the channel as a standalone video.
Man, Meso,
so Takuma draws a dramatic reading, open letter to HSA Home Warranty.
Man,
yes.
Meso.
You really Why didn't you just say that to begin with?
I don't know, man. I guess I just have trouble getting my words out sometimes. I don't know.
Meso, you really
maybe,
got to
maybe
stop.
Maybe I should work better on that. I don't know.
Hey, Meso.
Serious question: how did you manage to get a girlfriend? Did she like see you as a rescue or something?
Dear God.
Oh, no. This is my rescue.
And on that note, Takuma's prior offer has now been revoked.
Oh no!
As has his channel access.
Did he ever have it?
No.
Oh gosh.
He was never
I'll
granted
just have to
that
go.
privilege.
I'll just have to go start my own channel where I make really cool D&D videos that are popular, and then
Really
a year
cool.
later they're like, "Hey, we fired Meso. Will you come back?"
Really cool pizza eating videos.
Like, catch pizza, catch pizza, catch pizza.
Eljay, what were you saying? You were gonna meme me about something.
Yeah, I was just gonna offer you a knife to cut your nose off with.
Nice.
Yeah.
All right. Eljay, we've got some message board topics to talk about.
At the
Let's
very
do it.
least, one with the possibility of two. And I wanted to focus on one over the other because the other is quite lengthy and I feel is possibly better to be dedicated for another episode because we can devote more time to it. But
You would be correct.
This one was more interesting to me because I feel like the topics, it's preceded on a false... Oh, gosh. I'm missing the words. Bottom line, I don't think that it starts off very well. The premise. It's a false premise. There we go. So, Lego Master 1378 over on the TTV message boards, who's a former moderator of ours, started a topic with the title, Did G1 Bionicle characters have too many powers/abilities? And I will go ahead and link that topic over in the YouTube live chat for everyone to follow along with. And so he continues, do Bionicle characters have more abilities than they could practically use? For example, during the 2006 story, Jala Anika possessed the ability to create, control, and absorb fire combined with lightning powers, the Kanohi Calyx, Mask of Fate, which gave him greatly enhanced agility and reflexes and hideousness, an energized flame sword, which could be used both for melee combat and to fire blasts of electrified fire, and a Zamor launcher, which he could use to free enslaved Matoran and as an offensive weapon against the Paraka/the environment. These powers have a lot of potential to be used and combined in interesting ways that showcase individual character strengths. However, while rewatching Noah Productions' adaptation of the 2006 Bionicle storyline, I was struck by how often character powers are either sloppily shoehorned into action sequences or forgotten altogether. What do you guys think? Has anyone else noticed this issue with G1 storytelling/world building? So...
Well, first of all, they already have a problem with it.
I have a problem with this too, but so I'll let you voice yours. I
mean, I've got my own thoughts on this as well.
My shorter one is just I've watched Noah Productions' 2016 adaptation, and I like it quite a lot. I think it's a very commendable project that had a lot of work put into it, with some genuinely cool moments, great voice acting, and visuals, especially for the stop motion category that it's in. He takes a unique visual approach to telling the whole story. But it is not at all what I would consider an accurate adaptation. Some scenes are transcriptions, but some scenes are just completely manufactured for the sake of the movie to help make it more entertaining. And I don't think that's a good benchmark to go off of when judging, a character's power set. I recently read through the actual books with Haley when we were going through Bionicle, and I didn't notice any kind of problem whatsoever, with the exception of the Paraka, who I feel maybe have a few too many abilities for their own good. But like the Toa, not really. The Zamor spheres were there clearly just as a set thing that they needed to find a way to put into the story.
Of course.
But the Zamors also weren't a part of their arsenal. They didn't really need to use, the Zamors in combat all of the time. They had other tools at their disposal. They were a plot point that just so happened to also work kind of as a weapon. Without that, then you're left with elements, weapons, and masks, which has been that way since the beginning. And it's the three facets of Bionicle power scaling. Because the masks are the MacGuffin they hunt towards, at least in the beginning. The elements are their baseline traits, because they're Toa. And the weapons are just what they have to distinguish them from other Toa of the same element. Like, what separates Vakama from Tahu? Well, Tahu has a sword. Vakama has a launcher jetpack thing.
Yeah. And
Go on, Elder.
no, I definitely agree. It's like, No Productions, I've spoken with him before. Incredibly kind person. He's done a really good job on this series. Not something you should be judging the Bionicle Story on. Because, yeah, as you mentioned, alterations. But yeah, I mean, that you're kind of right, and I don't know if I'm really going to be able to more eloquently put that. Their tools are a part of their tool set. It's just what they use. They're not powers, and they're not abilities. In addition, the energized flame sword does not independently shoot fire. The weapon doesn't do anything independently from Jala. It is a channeling tool. It does not independently have its own power set. It is just an item. It is the exact same as any other sword. He can just shoot fire through it. So, that seems a bit misleading. I think there is an argument for characters having a lot of powers that seem massively underutilized. The ones that come to, or if not underutilized, then I definitely agree poorly implemented. And at the risk of starting another conversation, I would definitely cite the Paraka as having too many powers.
I'll agree.
It's just that, you know what?
I don't think they were overpowered. I just think some of the stuff was unnecessary. The combination of elemental abilities, like the Paraka didn't need to have elemental powers. They barely ever even used them. They only used them to like stage that one like golem to make them look like heroes.
Yeah.
And also like a handful of times. Otherwise, they never used them.
Yeah. For instance, Avok. I don't want to cite Zaktan because he's a bit more of an exception. He's not the rule. Avok, X-ray and telescopic vision. And he could also use his mind to create a perfect prison for his enemies. On top,
And he has the stone power.
and on top of the elemental power of stone, along with another Skakti. That is a lot of powers. And I can't even argue from a set perspective you needed that. Because you just needed the... you could have just had the vision. You know? Like, the light-up function was supposed to be kind of like, oh, look, it's a vision of some variety. You could have just had either the telescopic thing or the prison thing, and that could just be his eye power. And that's it. But there are already so many different powers for him. And I don't even know if he uses the X-ray and telescopic vision in any story material, ever.
I don't recall.
Okay, you say that, but if I might share my perspective on this, I'm going to disagree completely and say that that is an issue.
Okay.
Wait.
And
What? You're going to disagree completely and
I'm
say
going to disagree
that's an
completely
issue.
with what you just said about Avak.
Okay.
Oh, okay, go for it.
So the number of abilities is irrelevant.
Okay.
Okay. What counts is whether or not it comes down to whether or not the author is any good.
Uh-oh.
Oh boy.
You can have a character with all these powers, and so long as your story progresses logically as them having those powers, it doesn't matter, because everything will unfold as it should. The problem here is that kind of as was mentioned, they're like poorly implemented or just kind of shoehorned. Well, that's because whoever was writing wasn't enough in the mindset of the character they're writing for. If they were, they would have been thinking, oh, they have to be as comfortable with using these powers as if they had also had them for as long as and under whatever the same conditions as the writing of the character. If a power doesn't get utilized, that's not a problem with the person having too many powers that, oh, I can't use them all because I don't have time. No, that's a problem with the author not thinking like the character should think. And going a little bit further into that, just to specifically your mention of Avak, it's like, yeah, he's got combo elemental powers. He's got the vision powers. He's got the perfect prison. I would say, actually, that's a power level that makes sense, given that these are the beings who defeated the Toa Nuva.
Yeah.
Like, without all that, they should have been easily overpowered. With them, makes sense they were that they were overpowered. However, the way the story was told of them overpowering the Toa Nuva was not done well. Don't get me wrong, like Greg F., and I like the books, but in my opinion, the way the Paraka overpowered the Toa Nuva, not handled well.
Yeah, I don't.
But
like
they did
how that was
need
gone
the
about.
power that extreme of a power level to make it realistic that they could. There just should have been more to it than Toa Nuva blundered in and Paraka got the jump on them.
Yeah,
Avak, perfectly balanced. Nothing wrong with him.
I'm
If
still.
I would only say, like, the only time too much power becomes a problem is if you do follow your story logically and suddenly this person becomes a much bigger threat than they were ever intended to be. Does that make sense? In which, yeah.
I get what you're saying.
It's only a problem if you're like, oh, this guy is supposed to be a sidekick and you gave him the power level of a superhero. So
I agree, but I also do think, like, even though I don't think this applies to the Paraka necessarily, I do think power scaling is a concern even in things like Bionicle, where characters, are just made incredibly powerful, very out of scale, and rather than use that as an opportunity to, like, provide a meaningful challenge for the heroes to overcome these characters with a billion powers, they just make the heroes more powered up to compensate. Like, that's what a lot of people say for the Anika. I don't think it applies to them necessarily, but the principle does apply to media. You could say that's just another case of bad writing, but I mean, like, I can hand wave that with any writing trope in history. There's examples of it done well and done bad. And I don't think Bionicle necessarily was written poorly all of the time. In that aspect, they definitely had some good power scaling. But there's a few issues, and I think a lot of it does come from being a toy line. Not this specific instance, but
I mean,
they do have to make the characters cool to appeal to the kids.
For me, that was one problem I will say I've always kind of had with Bionicle, particularly in G1, is that they had all this power, and yet it was never used. It's not because they had too many powers, it's just because it was never capitalized on. You look at the first Bionicle G1 movie. How many times do any of the Toa actually use their powers or their masks?
Well, which film are you talking about?
It's the original G1 Bionicle movie, Mask of Light.
Oh.
Sorry, I didn't call it by name.
There was a shield at some point, and technically Liwa flew like once.
There's a shield at 2 points. Flight is not a mask power.
I'm sorry, I'm thinking of the wrong
Levitation.
one. Yeah, he didn't levitate.
Was it? Well, I might be thinking of the wrong one. Was it Legends of Metro Nui where none of them ever used their elemental powers?
Yes.
Yeah, that's what I was trying to think of.
Oh god, I forgot about that.
They're Toa, and we know at this point they know how to use their elemental powers. Never use it in the movie.
Well,
that's not a case of them having too much power that they can't implement in the story.
Well,
that's a case of the writers did not write these Toa like they were Toa who had powers.
There is a bit of an explanation for that. Their powers were drained when they defeated the Morbuzak in the first half of the year. And so because Toa power is it's limited, and it can be depleted to a certain point and have
Yeah.
to recharge. So there's a chronological
I don't think it would go
order to
throughout that for that whole movie though.
Eh.
And even if so, that should have been something they included in the story, because I'm pretty sure they say, "Hey, these are the Toa. They have elemental powers. By the way, you're never going to see them in this movie, and we're never going to tell you why."
Yeah, I mean, it seems to me, not to be my old Bionicle cynical self, but
Uh-oh.
that seems to be like just kind of a retrospective hand wave where they're like, oh, the writers didn't include the powers in the movie. How can we explain this? Yeah, it's just have it be drained.
Well,
Because I'm sure the movie script came before the Morbuza comics.
I don't
I'm sure
know.
the movie took priority.
I don't know. I'm legitimately not sure.
Nor am I, for what it's worth. It's just a guess, but I think it makes sense.
Maybe.
And then we get into like other weird situations. Like if you want to talk about too many powers, there's one thing that I think everyone can pretty much agree, and that is Makuta.
Okay.
Because the Makuta and their Khurana powers. Am I wrong, or am I right in saying that Makuta could access all 42?
You are
of the
correct.
Khurana powers?
They can access all 42.
Now, I want to briefly do a tangent. Well, it's relevant, but I want to just talk for a second. For anyone in the audience or in the listening group who might not know what the Khurana powers are, I am going to tell you what the Khurana powers are as soon as I can find a list. Okay, yeah, here we go. We have fear, disintegration, poison, fragmentation, hunger, anger, weather control, elasticity, heat vision, illusion, teleportation, quick healing, laser vision, gravity, electricity, sonics, vacuum, plasma, magnetism, fire, ice resistance, mind reading, shape-shifting, darkness, plant control, molecular disruption, chain lightning, cyclone, density control, chameleon, accuracy, rahi control, insect control, stasis field, limited invulnerability, power scream, dodge, silence, adaptation, slow, confusion, and sleep.
Snoozer.
So the Makuta can do all of those things, but they very rarely do. And when they aren't, the question is always, why aren't they? I had that issue in my mind when reading Bionicle 08. It's the only instance where I can agree with this point of view, is Bionicle 08.
I mean, I can actually kind of see it in 01 as well. Because think about it. Pterodax has this ability. He uses shapeshifting. We saw that in the first year. And, I mean, obviously enough, the Khurana came later, But the fact that they...
I mean, anything with Pterodax can be hand-waved is just, it was part of his plan to be defeated, so why use all that? I'm being serious.
That's
No.
one of his powers.
I know, you're right.
Yeah, he has the power of convenient defeat. But yeah,
Power of
no,
losing when he wants to.
yeah, the Makuta were immensely overpowered, and I mean, think about it: molecular disruption, limited invulnerability or intangibility, and whatnot.
See, the problem here is that the power level that they've been given does not match the power level that the story tells.
Yeah.
Like anyone, I'm not calling it too much power. I'm calling it, if they had this amount of power, they should have been like, for lack of a better way of putting it, like God tier, right?
Yeah.
They should not have been, but they weren't played up that way.
No.
So I wouldn't say it's too much power. I'd say it's more power than befits how the characters are being portrayed.
Yeah.
Which you could take to mean too much power. At that point, you're probably splitting hairs.
Well, the thought that I had with 08 was like they really tried hard to portray the Makuta as like the greatest threat that the Toa had ever faced.
Well, and don't
You
forget, in 08, it was specifically stated that like their mutations or whatever they underwent also limited their
Yeah, that's true.
access to some of the powers.
That's true, I guess. But because of how vague that is, like that doesn't really mean anything to me. But I guess it works as an excuse. I suppose I can't be too critical because they did say that. but like that could mean anything.
Although it
Like,
does feel
mean,
arbitrary.
it's very arbitrary because that could mean it limited everything but like 3, or it could limit like 10 of them. It's like we have no
But
way
then,
of
did we
knowing.
even see any of them at play?
They did. I think a few times they used some.
I think
The ones
molecular
in specific.
disruption was used during a teleportation at one point.
Like, I would
So-
like to see a well-written story where someone actually goes up against a Makuta at full strength, who actually plays to the fact that they have all these strengths. How do you take down such a titan like this?
Yeah.
Which I feel like these powers are well represented in their reputation, just not their implementation. Like, because Makuta
True.
are regarded as just absolutely terrible. They're just so incredibly powerful, nobody can stand up to them. That's why so many different Toa of so many different elements were just...
I feel like we did see that in the story.
We
I
did.
mean, I guess...
Like, sure, there was a degree of fear and a respect of power, but not to the point where they have 42 powers where some of them are frickin' broken.
Yeah, I suppose.
The way they wrote the 08 story, they did it differently than most. Like, I'll use a contrast to 06. It's what I'm most familiar with. In 06, the story structure was, okay, so the Paraka beat down on the Toa team we know and love, and then the new Toa team comes in and saves them by, like, outsmarting the Paraka and letting the Paraka destroy themselves due to, you know, their own infighting and allowing them to keep escaping and staying one step ahead of them. In 08, it was kind of similar. Like, the Toa throughout the story, especially the first part of the year, just keep getting wrecked by the Makuta. I think at one point they're being held captive by like Kurox or someone, and they're about to die
Mutran.
in Kopaka. Mutran, yes. And they're saved by Pohatu figuring out how to move so fast that he can teleport in between
Okay, well,
or phase through solid objects. Am I wrong?
He moves his... Okay. So to
You're
anyone who
wrong.
isn't familiar with the Bionicle story, this is about to get just fascinating. Keep in mind, this
Yeah.
did not debut in 2008. This was a 2002-2003 thing. Pohatu, who is in chains, unable to use his elemental powers, I think,
Yeah.
managed to escape by moving so fast his molecules slipped in between the molecules of the chains and allowed him to break free because he was vibrating so quickly.
That's like
Wait.
every speed character ever.
Yeah. It's not like bad on principle. It's kind of cool even. But to me, it's kind of just, it's emblematic of the way they have the Toa deal with Makuta. It's not, hey, figure out how to beat them or outsmart them or let them turn against each other to save us. It's, let's do something crazy that we've never done before to get us out of this. And that's how power scaling is done very poorly. IMO, at least. That's not what I
Think
look
of all
for.
the things he could have done just through like phasing through people.
It's so funny. He used it a few more times after that, which I respected. It wasn't like a one and done. But even still, it's such a hilarious thing to me. And yeah, Golly did that once before to go through a wall, apparently.
Exactly.
Because they said, we're going to pull a Pohatu on him.
Oh my goodness.
Okay, that is not... That quote is taken out of context. That's not what pulling a Pohatu on him references. Yeah,
Tell us.
no. I mean, pulling Pohatu is basically just making things go boom. That's what that means.
Smashing everything.
Yeah, it's yeah.
So again, it's just kind of a weird instance. In a well-written story, you would have villains who have powers that conflict with the heroes, challenge the heroes, and force the heroes to either, use their own ingenuity or figure out a creative solution to defeat them. And Bionicle, oftentimes, it's not about having too many powers or anything like that. It's simply about how
powers that aren't used.
Yes, and also just how the story is structured. Generally, like 07 was weird because they fought against the Baraki, but never once did I feel that the Baraki were even like remotely threatening. Like, I know that's just me. Their personalities were threatening, but as far as powers, I don't think they had elemental powers. They also didn't have. They also didn't have mask powers.
Nope.
They just kind of had these like sea creature abilities, and were just really physically strong.
I
Which
mean,
certainly made them
the
unique,
Baraki was never supposed to be like a physical strength. It was always the fact that they commanded these great armies.
Yeah.
So yeah, once you strip away those armies, they are pitiful, and they were never more, maybe not pitiful, but they're weak by comparison, and they were never meant to be more than that.
Yeah. I just found it weird because I was more threatened by the Venom Eel. The Venom Eel posed more of a threat.
Which, admittedly, was part of Elix's army.
Touche. Well played.
Yeah. No, I see the points. I don't know. I never really had too much of an issue with it, with how many powers XYZ person had. I thought that the Makuta were immensely strong, and that wasn't handled well. I thought the Paraka were unforgivably strong, especially in comparison to Toanova. But I just don't think that whole scene was handled very well.
Yeah, I mean, like, it's funny. I've never once thought about it like this. But I actually do have an issue with the Paraka scene. It's kind of in reverse to how you always have the issue with it. Because for me, it's not so much why did the Toa Nuva lose to the Paraka because of how strong they are. It's why did the Toa Nuva, like, why do they stand more of a chance against the Makuta, who are supposed to be more powerful than the Paraka?
Exactly. I was just thinking that during this conversation. It doesn't make a lot of sense, eh? But
nope.
The whole point with the Paraka was that they supposedly caught the Toa Nuva, like, you know,
off guard.
Yeah, see, and I still have issue with that because
which is a stupid way of handling it.
Greg
because
has
of how
even
much
said
power they had.
if the Toa Nuva went in there fully prepared, fully knowing what they were heading into, then they would have probably won. But the Toa got a handle. The last three Toa had a handle on the situation, came up with a plan, executed it to perfection, and it mattered not at all. And it just because then you have freaking Thok or Hakan or someone came in and was like, sorry, let me hit Q on my keyboard. You're done. It just
it's called Deus Ex Machina.
Tulikon says, would you put the Glatorian Scrawl skill comparison in the same category? Not really.
No.
Like, the Scrawl, it's a problem, but only because of how that story was framed. Like, I don't mind the Scrawl being physically stronger in every way than the Glatorian.
Well,
I think that's cool.
That might not be what he's referencing.
Probably not. I'm probably misreading. But
well, it's. I think it's just the wording, because the Glatorian versus the Scrawl are very, very ill-balanced early in the story. The Glatorian don't win a lot against Scrawl. Scrawl are very strong. And then in TLR, it doesn't matter. Yeah, okay, that's exactly what I figured. Yeah, the Scrawl and the Legend Reborn are just complete wimps. They're easily beaten. They're taken out in one single hit. Now, that's a popular trope. Of course. You know, you have a strong enemy, and then there are more of them, and then they are not... They're no longer strong.
Which is one of the reasons why people criticize multiple Makuta.
Yeah, exactly. But I think early on, the Scrawl being stronger is perfectly fine, because they're cousins to Glatorian species, and, you know, there's a physicality to strength. So I can see them being just a generally stronger species, and then, of course, being in a harsher environment and a harsher climate, they just had to be stronger. I think that's fine.
I don't have any beef with that. My only beef, is how they suddenly started defeating them when they got elemental powers. Which I could forgive if the elemental powers were the only reason they defeated them, but they weren't, because they showed plenty of melee combat scenes of just throwing them around.
Yeah, basically.
Prentice says, can we just agree to forget TLR? No, for two reasons. Number one, because this year is its 10th anniversary and we got to do a movie coverage later on. And two, because, well, you'll see. Point being, there's going to be some discussions had about its quality. Oh, it may actually be the best Bionicle movie.
It is not compared to the other Bionicle movies.
Here we go.
Garbage.
I'm prepping my case. I got 9 months to prep my case. I'm gonna be the one making it.
Oh boy.
Get him, Strack.
Get him, Strack. I feel like the Get him Strack guy is a microcosm of Bionicle's epic character development and characterization.
All right.
The Get him Strack guy represents the the cheering fan who supports someone even at their lowest point, just as we the consumers were for Bionicle's 2 generations.
Get him, Bionicle.
You know, Glatorian Arena, there's that part where you can go to the bazaar or whatever, like that marketplace. They should have added Get 'em Strat guy to that outside area where you could talk to people.
Oh my gosh.
Yep. I
Would have
agree.
been the best game yet.
Meso play Glatorian Arena. It'll happen, Kaz.
We're going to have a
I mean,
Glatorian Arena bracket championship tournament at Brick Fair.
yeah, that's the only way we're going to be able to do it because it doesn't have online multiplayer. It's not even LAN. It's not even. It's just physically 1 keyboard and 2 people.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I mean, we could just have it to where I play it and Eljay commentates and coaches my matches, but that wouldn't be as fun.
Heck no. Also, Dark Talk Nova from the Patron server said, can we get Eljay and Meso the Monog speedrun? Invi has actually already done a Monog speedrun.
Yeah, I have the world record.
Yeah, he has the world record on the fastest playthrough of Monog, so definitely check that out.
All right. That was an interesting topic, Eljay.
Yeah, well, thank you,
it.
Lego Master, for posting it, but my goodness, man. Start with a better frame of reference. Not to say that his frame of reference is bad necessarily. It's just he needs to start with a more appropriate frame of reference. There we go.
You left our mod team to make bad comparisons. What is this?
You chose to highlight the most egregious that were their case of power scaling.
Yeah, how could you, Lego Master? You're not a topic writing master, that's for sure.
Oh my gosh. Forget he said that.
Stick to what you're good at. Don't quit your day job.
I'm just joking, man.
Don't listen to them. Thank you for your time being our moderator.
Okay,
Lego
quit
Master's
your day
like, cool,
job.
dude. He has lots of interesting opinions on things. Don't get offended. I'm just memeing.
Okay. All right. Well, Mess, I think it's about time we put this
Sadly
podcast
so.
to bed.
Yes. If you have any interesting Bionicle-related prompts you'd like to talk about, or you'd like to hear us talk about on the TTV Podcast, you know, the message boards are always open if you want to go, like, you know, pitch us a topic or something. Because we like to do more Bionicle discussion. The problem is just figuring out what to do. And, like, Eljay always has something to talk about because he's the Bonkle guru.
Mm-hmm.
The rest of us aren't as blessed with his never-ending, you know, wealth of knowledge. So we need some help from time to time. But there's lots of stuff to talk about with Bonkle, and we're always willing to do it. So, hey, there you go. For now, that'll mark the end of this TTV podcast. Thank you all very much for coming out and making it a good one tonight. This week's patron shout-out is going to go to... Give me a drum roll. To... Voravax! Thank you, Voravax, who's deafened right now and can't even hear it. Wonderful.
That's the epic prank. And also a shout out to Green Tornado in the YouTube chat for donating $20. Much appreciated, man. Plus the shirt purchase.
Yes.
You're a pretty cool guy.
This is very true. Thank you.
Yeah, no, seriously. Thank you so much. It's very, very kind of you, and hopefully you enjoy the shirt. I've heard that they are incredibly comfortable.
Gotta buy one else.
I will. I will.
Buy my own merch? Who do you think I am?
I'm still
Come
waiting
on.
for one that has me on it.
Well,
Just
Takuma,
say, we can do one of you eating the rabbit.
And a pizza.
Yeah.
I don't know why that wasn't made a pizza. Well, no, okay, I do know. Because the picture of Takuma on the TTV message board... Sorry, not TTV message board, it's TTV
Or
Wiki.
Wiki.
Yeah, it is of you eating the rabbit Takuma and not
No!
pizza.
Don't do that
Eating
one.
the rabbit.
That-
Don't do that one.
I mean, not just posing the rabbit like
Actually
next to, you know, like,
eating it.
you're actually biting in.
You guys make me regret ever showing that picture.
Okay.
Takuma,
I didn't
cannot
put
run
that
from
in
your
there.
past.
You're more mean to the rabbit than I am.
Okay, I
Takuma,
gotta.
you can't run from your past. You have to turn around and face it head on.
Just eat the freaking rabbit.
I'm gonna go ahead and put that in the video right now. There we go. This is
I mean,
Takuma.
it's one thing when the rabbit's just, being a rabbit, but when Var makes art of it and makes the rabbit crying. Jeez.
So if it was enjoying it, you
Stab, twist, stab some more. There goes my heart.
I mean, there
So
goes
anyway,
the rabbit.
If the rabbit was enjoying it, you wouldn't have minded. But it's because it looks like it's crying.
Stab, twist with a fork into the rabbit, and take
Stab
a
it.
bite. Okay. Really?
All right. Well, thank you all very much for listening to this TTV podcast. We'll see you next week for maybe a brick feed if there's any Lego news. If not, we'll be back here doing the same old stuff. Until then, I am Meso.
Oh, did you want me to play the music?
Yes, please. Play the
Okay.
music.
Cue the music.
Every time I try and play the
Soup's
music, you always yell at me. All right.
I don't yell at you. I just want it to be timed properly.
Yeah, okay, whatever, man. I'm LJ.
Hi, I'm Tenebrae Invictus.
I'm Takuma Nova.
And farewell, everybody. We'll see you all next time for some more exciting podcasts.
Tell us how your raw toast goes this week. Hopefully you can sneak some into the movie theater with your earplugs.
Dude,
I'll probably make the title Raw Toast in the theater.
great.
I'm gonna go right after
Oh no, wait,
this.
Raw Toast and cold bread.
Oh my gosh. I'm gonna go get a sandwich after this.
From Utah.
From Utah. Actually, I have a story about that, but
From Utah.
Next
Anyway.
time.
till next time. See ya.
May your toast be warm and your bread be...